And how would you ensure Walusu's spending is in line with students' best interests?
Well, that's a big part of my platform too. I've gotten to talk to other students and a lot of things. I mean, everybody has their interpretation of the extra spending that was put into the terrace expansion. But I find maybe if there's more information about that and exactly what decisions happen and what costs extra spending, maybe students would have another take on it. I personally don't know have all the information myself, but I think that's a big concern. And after that report went out, everyone is saying that Walusu's the worst spender in the world. But I mean, there's also different places to look where they've done well with spending. I think that's something important to consider also. The budget is made by the board of directors, so that actually is very important. I think a lot of students don't realize that they should really take some time and understand who they're voting into the board of directors, because these are the people that are just going to be in charge of designating where the money goes. In saying that, I find that maybe just voting them in shouldn't be the last step in their interaction with where the money goes. I think maybe having a survey that's online, that it might cost some money to make, but it would allow students to have more input and more interaction into the decisions that are being made on their behalf. I mean, the budget is something very important because that directly affects the people, every student's lives, whether it be having not enough funding or if they feel that funding should go somewhere else. And I feel that there should be more interaction with the decisions. And the sad part is, right, that I wish we had more people going for board of directors. I've met some of the applicants, and they're great people, and I love some of the ideas that they have. In saying that, we have 19 applicants for 15 positions in a school of 15,000. So with 19 people out of 15,000 people going for representation, not to say I don't know the caliber of the candidates, and I don't know very many of them, so I'm sure some will do a great job, but to ensure the highest quality of people that are that are making the decisions for the school, I think maybe we should look at promoting people to be a part of the board of directors. So in saying that, I personally, to get better funding and to make sure the representation of students and where they want the money to go is by myself. And working with the management team, going into where students are and asking them these questions. Where do you find the best things? I think that can either be done also through with, whether it be online, an online survey, or literally just going and having people go into the place and be like, hey, this budget is coming up and there's decisions that are being made. If you'd like to have a better voice and where you want the money to go, you can tell us now. Or also you can have students go to the board of directors meetings. I mean, every student within this corporation, I think a lot of people think that if I'm not a volunteer, I'm not in Walusu, but every student's part of Walusu, and they're all open to go to the board of directors meetings. So if they want to go to the board of directors meetings and say, I don't agree with the money going here, I'd like to go here, that's something that at least we give power to their voice, because then the board is able to hear it. So attending meetings, giving them more information of when the budget is getting created, and their ability to affect that is something I find can have extreme importance in making sure money's going to the right places in the best interest of the students.
Okay. How well do you think Walusu management is currently operating, and what do you think you could do better?
I think they're doing a good job. In talking to them myself, I think they admitted there's things that can be improved. I think a large part of that right now is the lack of information that students are getting. Well, the information is there. We'll say maybe it's the communication medium in which they're doing it. I don't know if you've been able to go to the Walusu website, but I don't find it's very interactive. I find that if you're going to want, the information is there, but students don't want to go to the website. So if students don't want the website, then they're not going to get the information. I find maybe a restructuring of the website. So there's a company called Square Crop, and I've met a person, Stephen Sells, that works pretty closely with that's basically the reason for its company's existence, is to remodel student university websites to make them more interactive for students. The students will go. That kind of information is huge. Even just like having a calendar of knowing when events are. The school doesn't have that, so a lot of students that want to know what's going on in school or where are the resources. Like I just found out yesterday, I'm in 4th year, I went to the music building and found out we have a concert every week in Laurier. I had no idea. And things like that, even just making sure that people know where the resources. I mean, I've talked to a couple classes already about SOS. It's an amazing volunteer organization. But for students who maybe can't afford it, or like another option, we have tutors on campus. We have mentorship programs in different faculties where students are willing to take their time to help you out. But then students are turning to other resources that the school already offers for free and Volusia offers free. So I think communication medium there. Also going to, I know it's a lot of people's platforms of going out to the students. I've tried to do that already through my campaign, and just the way I kind of go through school. A lot of people think of me as like a wanderer in the school, but I just like meeting new people. I put myself where the students are, or I go in positions where I know a lot of students are impacted, and whether it be athletics or volunteering or where I work, I just try to meet as many students as I can. I think that's important. The president, our management team should go out. They should have a face in the position. A lot of students don't know what the president looks like, and I find that maybe if they did, they wouldn't be afraid to come up in the halls and say, hey, you made this happen or something. I'd like to have that changed, or to voice concern. Something like that, I think, is really important. I do like the relationship that Volusia has with the university. I find right now they have a great relationship. So when it comes to talking about issues where the university may have to spend more money, or on behalf of Volusia, or to sit down and even have a conversation, they have good relationships that we can take away from that. And so it's not like a war every time you sit down at the table to bargain with them. So I definitely find that Volusia's doing a great job in that aspect. But also, the one thing I wanted to change is going through the campaign process, probably this is just the last thing, a lot of students find that if they're, or feel that if they're not a volunteer, then they're not a part of Volusia. And I think that is a huge thing. It's kind of, I want to change that ideology and that reality that students are living in. We have probably about 550 to 600 volunteers in the school, yet we have 15,000 students. And Volusia used to serve the 15,000, not the 550. And that is something that we really need to consider, and to make people feel that they're part of the entire Laurier community. Like Volusia is representing the Laurier community, and not just volunteers, not just athletes, not just like any athletes and volunteers play an enormous part of the school, and we should really respect that. At the same time, we really need to make sure that we're serving everybody, and they know that we're there for them, and they have somewhere to go in case they have concerns, forces, or comments, or anything like that. So, that's it.
Okay.
Sorry.
How would the everyday student benefit from your presidency?
The everyday student, that kind of goes into what I was saying before. Whether you're the student who goes to class every day, goes home, and never gets involved, or you're a student who spends 30, 40 hours on campus every time, I don't want there to be any distinction or difference in the amount of services that I provide for them, or in having the information available to them. I find I know a lot more information than, we'll say, the everyday student knows, because I spend a lot of time up here on the third floor of the Nichols Campus Center, but I don't think that's the way it should be. I can find information by going into the offices. I feel comfortable going to talking to the VPs. I feel comfortable